Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on the key components of a stellar payment experience. My name is Eddie Driver. I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at PaySimple, and I'm going to be your host for today's event. Before we begin, I just want to get a couple of small details out of the way. First, this webinar is being recorded. We'll be following up with some communications after the webinar with the recording. And then secondly, we are going to have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Feel free to ask questions as they occur to you. In order to get those questions to us, just use the chat feature in the lower left corner of your screen. And those of you who are new, PaySimple is a payment processing software that helps small and medium-sized service businesses accept payments, streamline billing, and market to their customers. And we're well known for our award-winning customer care team who support the success of over 17,000 businesses across the United States. And when our customer success managers like Maureen, who's presenting with me today, are onboarding new merchants, they almost always see the same mistakes being made when it comes to a payment experience. These mistakes can cause businesses to lose thousands of dollars on missed sales opportunities, but luckily most of them are pretty easy to fix, and that's why we're here today, and that's the subject that we're going to be talking about. So we're going to do a little background on both myself and Maureen. And as I said, I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at PaySimple. I've spent over 10 years in the technology industry, but before that I actually was a small business owner, and today I am a very proud owner of a very large and glorious beard. And I'm going to turn it over to Maureen.
Thank you, Eddie. As Eddie mentioned, I am a part of the customer success team here at PaySimple, and I specialize in onboarding our top customers. And our mission here is to really just empower business owners to reach their fullest potential through best practices in automation. Prior to my time at PaySimple, I worked for a small to medium-sized business as the marketing and operations manager while producing an award-winning blog. And so in that, I found a lot of efficiencies in my day-to-day, and I definitely have a passion for sharing those type of operational best practices. So I'm really looking forward to today's topic.
Great. And so just a quick covering of the agenda for today's presentation. We're going to start with why payment experience matters, and then talk about some of the red flags that may be scaring some of your potentially paying customers away. We're going to talk about some household name brands and what we can learn from those big brands. And then we're going to talk about the pillars of offering a stellar payment experience. And then we're going to finish up with talking about how to upgrade your payment experience with PaySimple and wrap it up by answering your questions. And again, please send those questions through the chat in your screen. So to start here, we're going to talk about why payment experience matters. We got a couple of great statistics here talking about payment experience. 78% of consumers say that payment experience affects their willingness to return to a website. So if you are offering a subpar payment experience, it gives them the opportunity to reevaluate whether or not they want to do business with you. And 78% of them say that they use that in their decision making on whether or not to come back to one of your web properties. 3/4 of businesses say that consumers demand more payment options, so they can no longer just offer a single payment option to their customers because they expect that flexibility and expect to be able to pay in the way that they want to. And the last stat here is actually really surprising to me because online payments are just so prevalent in today's world, and everybody expects to kind of be able to pay online. But 1/3 of households still avoid online payments due to security concerns. So while it may be really common in today's society, there still is a sizable amount of people that are really concerned about security, and it'll cause them to actually not engage in online payments. So we do have a little story here from one of our great clients, the Cincinnati Spanish School, and I was actually on site with them a couple of months ago, and their founder, Megan, was talking about their payment experience. And they said that they were spending 80% of their time collecting payments and only 20% of their time actually focusing on the experience that their customers were having prior to PaySimple. And once they implemented PaySimple, and they've been using PaySimple for many years, they really had time freed up and had the opportunity to focus on the experience not only of their payments but of their classes. And as a result of that, allowed them to not only grow that business, but also open 2 additional locations, which is really, really great for them. And so now we're going to go into a few of the things that may be scaring some customers away, and I'm going to let Maureen talk about some of these specific examples.
Great. So if your current payment experience is exhibiting any of the red flags we have listed here, you're really running the risk of a few things. One would be cash flow. Decreased customer retention. You run the risk of lowering your lead conversion. So not only can you be losing customers due to decreased customer retention, but you're having a hard time kind of filling the top of the funnel there, and overall just lost revenue. Some of those red flags include a lengthy sign-up or login process. So maybe you're making your customers create a login to make a payment, enter a bunch of unnecessary information. That's going to deter them. It's not a convenient process for them. Maybe you have inconsistent branding, or you're redirecting customers from your website or social media page to something that doesn't really look or feel like you. And so they might get a little sketched out because they're entering sensitive data and they don't really know who's the end user or end receiver of that information. Having a bad mobile experience or no mobile experience is definitely risky as well. So maybe your payment solution is on the web but not mobilely optimized, or you don't have the ability to collect mobile payments out in the field, requiring your customers to find another way to pay you later on. Also, not having a stable software or a stable payment solution. Your payments are having errors the first time they're entered, deterring your customers from wanting to re-enter that information a second time. And lastly, re-entering, again, that information time to time is an inconvenience, especially for businesses and customers who are receiving or giving recurring services. Huge inconvenience to have to make your customers go in, re-enter their payment information month to month in order to receive services from you and you to collect payments from them. One thing that I often ask the business owners that I work with to ask themselves is, how do my customers want to pay me? And if you're not providing your customers those channels through which they want to pay you, or is most convenient to them, or feels the most trustworthy to them, how can you change that? And I would recommend working with a multi-channel payment solution, much like PaySimple. It's going to address all of these red flags that we just touched on, because it's going to open up your cash flow. It's going to allow your customers to pay you, again, in the ways that feel the most convenient to them, but also the ones that make them feel secure and that they can trust you because they're not exhibiting any of these red flags.
Great, yeah, and I think these red flags can definitely impact your business in a very negative way. And one of the things that we always see here at PaySimple is we see trends in payments from some of the big brands. And these big brands become successful because they really focus on the customer and they have a magnifying glass on every experience that a customer has with them. And so there are a few we'd like to talk about specifically here about how these big brands handle payments. And Maureen's going to start off with an example of Netflix.
Yes. So Netflix, as we all know, operates on the recurring automatic billing model. And recurring automatic billing is really essential for businesses with recurring services because we're continuing to chase and remind customers to pay for services that have already been rendered or that are rendered on a monthly basis or a regular basis is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for customers because they have to bend over backwards to pay you in order to receive reliable services. It's not reliable for you as a business owner while you're keeping operations afloat. I like to ask the question, could you imagine, and I've asked this on previous webinars, if Netflix didn't have auto debit as their default option? They would have major customer retention issues. And the fact of the matter is they don't have major customer retention issues thanks to recurring automatic billing. They actually have over 118 million subscribers. And like Eddie mentioned, there's a lot to be learned here from this big brand. Because they don't require their customers to pay a bill every month, customers don't have to think about spending money with them and therefore questioning their value proposition month to month. They can also rely on reliable services. Like I can go home tonight and binge watch whatever show I want to because my auto debit ran already this month. You're putting yourself in a position of risk if you're not operating on this type of model as is. And actually, our customer here at PaySimple Premier Athlete Training took a note from this recurring automatic billing model as he was losing countless man hours and thousands of dollars in monthly receivables and because it was so inconvenient for his customers to pay him. Ben from Premier Athlete Training actually stated, in today's world, people expect everything to happen instantly and easily. The second there's a barrier to signing up or paying, they start to look elsewhere, and that was not a risk he wanted to take, and I 100% agree with that. Now that Ben is using PaySimple's recurring billing feature, his customers can easily just put in their name, email, phone number, and payment information, and the system will create a profile for them when they become a member. And if they ever need to pause or restart their membership, all they have to do is reach out to Ben or one of his staff at Premier Athlete Training, and they can easily reactivate immediately. And actually, as a result, this is huge success. Ben's revenue has grown by nearly 400% since utilizing PaySimple's recurring billing feature, because they're no longer missing out on cash flow, and also they're able to reallocate Ben's resources and his employees' resources in order to grow the business.
Great. And before we get to our next big brand, I do want to just put in a quick reminder to chat any questions that you may have as we're going through the presentation. So our next big brand here is Starbucks. I would assume a lot of people on the call today have heard of Starbucks. But what you may not know about Starbucks, if I ask the question, who is the largest mobile payment company, a lot of people would say Apple Pay or Google Pay or maybe even Samsung Pay. But it turns out it's actually Starbucks. Starbucks really realized that in the effort to cut down on the time that their customers were spending at the register and to provide a better experience for them when they're trying to get through the line quickly on their way to work or on their way to do something else, they needed a quick payment option. So they actually built a mobile payment system that is being used by over 23 million people, and that holds the #1 spot, with Apple Pay being #2, and they're beating them by almost 1.5 million people using their payment solution. So, you know, a brick-and-mortar coffee company used mobile payments to revolutionize their business. And Reborn Cabinets, a customer of ours, also used mobile payments to revolutionize the way that they interact in the field, because in their kitchen and bath remodeling, they have field technicians that are actually on site with customers. And in the past, those customers wouldn't pay person to person. They would get an invoice, they'd send a paper check, or if they did pay, it would be by paper check, and they would have to make sure that they didn't lose that check. Well, now with our mobile payment solution, when that field technician renders that service, they can just collect the payment face-to-face from that client, and it is automatically taken care of by the central organization. So there's no more passing off of paper goods, potentially losing information, or having to wait months to chase down a payment. It happens there, it's instantaneous, and they can take that money and use it to help grow their business. So just like Starbucks, Reborn Cabinets looked at mobile payments as a way to really bring their business to the next level and make sure they're focusing on the easiest way that their customers can pay them for their services rendered.
Great. These days, consumers are doing research online before ever visiting a brick and mortar. So again, kind of going back to that, thinking outside of the brick and mortar model. And that's why brands like H&R Block, who are a traditional brick and mortar type service, have actually pivoted to more of an online store model. It's really important for business owners these days to have an online presence, showcase their service menu online, and actually have the ability to collect payments for those services online as well. Offering an online storefront gives you the ability to kind of showcase your offerings online, but also market your services and convert leads into sales without really requiring too much attention. And obviously, there are no geographical limitations there like there are with the brick and mortar, and very minimal overhead costs. Again, H&R Block, a very traditional service business, pivoted its towards this consumer trend to kind of cater to that market by providing customers and potential customers the ability to browse their services and offerings online, and also purchase those service packages from an informative and fully branded online store. And our customer Scraps here at PaySimple, which is a Denver-based pedal-powered compost pickup service, utilizes our online store to kind of mimic this similar model and cater to that consumer trend. And as a startup, Christy, the owner, has very limited resources, and it really allows her to provide that online presence to customers and potential customers and sell her services around the clock while she's out in the field doing what she loves, which is sharing sustainable environmental practices with the Denver community, contributing to a cleaner environment. And the branded online store really allows Christy to, again, convert those leads outside of the traditional face-to-face interactions that she doesn't have quite as much time for. And she doesn't have a brick and mortar. And again, she's out in the field growing her business. The online store is really marketing those services and providing that online presence that's so important these days.
Great. And I think, with all of these big brands that we talked about and all of the PaySimple customers that kind of correspond with those types of experiences, it really kind of boils down to knowing the pillars of what a stellar payment experience is. And Maureen here is going to touch on what those pillars are.
Yes. I mean, we've touched on it a lot so far, but again, to reiterate, creating a stellar payment experience is really, truly essential for customer retention and revenue expansion. And it can be as simple if you really focus on just these core pillars. We've touched a lot on the benefits of mobile and automatic and flexible payment options. In a few moments, we'll go over some tactical examples of how that can be accomplished using the PaySimple software. But for now, I'd really like to touch on building trust with your customers and being secure when it comes to taking payments. When customers pay you, it's very important to make it known that their sensitive information is being handled with care. So sending a secure payment link, hosting a secure and branded online store is going to convey a level of respect with your customers and just best practices as a business surrounding your customers' personal information. It also limits the amount of parties who actually have access to their banking information, their routing information, credit card information, as you don't have checks sitting on desks, there's not cash to handle, which is reassuring in itself. But kind of circling back to our red flags, trust can really be built again through branding, which is something that you can accomplish through a customizable payment platform like PaySimple through an online payment form or online store. And building trust with customers is also made possible when you partner with a payment processing provider who takes security seriously. So if you're collecting online payments or storing payment information on file, you need to be sure to be using a software platform that meets PCI DSS or Payment Card Industry Security Standard. This is incredibly important. PaySimple takes this very seriously. We are top tier PCI compliant. It's very important to not only convey that to customers, but use a platform that's going to protect against the misuse of customer information in this day and age. Think Target, Equifax, data breaches are very common, and so it's important to pick a trusted partner. And again, you really want to focus on finding a partner and provider that has a stable platform solution for you. If you're seeing payment errors when you're entering payments, or your customers are online trying to make a payment and they see an error, they may not try it again, and then you're out having to chase that payment down. So you really want something that's going to pass through a successful payment the first time around.
Great. And to follow up on that, we're going to have a little poll here, which is to select the payment feature that you rely on the most. So I'm going to take about 10 or 15 seconds here, and we'll calculate some of these answers. In the meantime, for the last time, I am going to remind people to chat your questions if you have them. We're hoping to be able to answer a few of those at the end. So here we have our poll coming in. We're going to go ahead and close it. All right, so results here: online payment forms, recurring billing, both used fairly heavily. A buy now button is not used all that often, and a lot of people use all of the above, which is great because PaySimple has the ability to work with all of these different options for these payment types. And Maureen's going to start talking about some of the tactical ways that PaySimple actually allows you to utilize these payment features for your customers.
Yes, and I would say before we get started on this section, I really want to hone in on the fact that not only is it an out-of-box solution, but no developer is required, and it's easily integrated into a website or a social media platform.
Great. So when we talk about kind of the easiest ways to accept online payments. Maureen has touched a couple times on recurring billing, an online store to showcase services, or payment forms to collect payments. As you see in the poll, we had the Buy Now button show up. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But really what these do are offer a better experience, not only for you as a business owner to be able to create those efficiencies, save time, and focus on the core competencies of your business, but it offers a better experience for your customers to pay not only in the way that they want, but where they are, face-to-face, per month, through an online storefront, things of that nature. So really being able to utilize all of these different payment features within your business offers a better holistic experience for the business and for the customer. And to touch on each of these individual payment features, we're going to start with talking about how PaySimple allows you to build some pretty fantastic online storefronts with our online store capabilities.
Yes, here's our online store, and this is something that I assist our customers in setting up every day. But it is very easy for a business owner to do in just a few moments. And if you're having any trouble, like Eddie mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, we have an award-winning customer care team that would be happy to walk you through this in a few moments. The first thing that I really like about our online store is that it's totally branded and customizable. So it's going to offer that streamlined solution that's not going to make your customers feel like they're being redirected away from your brand that they know. It's going to build that trust with them and offer that consistent experience. Setting up an online store is very simple. We have what's called a catalog here at PaySimple where you can build out your services and products, all of your offerings. You can come up with descriptions, branded images, and then when you're ready, you can create an online store. And you can create multiple online stores, actually. So maybe you have memberships in one store, products and merchandise in another, but all of it can be easily changed up, and you can have multiple URLs. So as you can see here, this online store has multiple service offerings in it. All those are done is just taken from the catalog and popped right in here. And when you save this online store after you've added your branding, your logo, custom contact information, it will spit out a URL that can, again, easily be plugged into your social media platforms or your website. All right, so our payment form is a great solution as well. Maybe you're selling one item at a time, or you just need to collect a simple payment with some additional information. This is a great solution for those who are doing registrations or collecting a quick invoice payment where they maybe need to collect company name and invoice number. But as you can see here, the branding again is consistent with the company. We've got adorable little puppies here and a nice little logo at the top left corner, as well as some additional custom fields where additional information can be collected with payment. And again, once this is saved, a custom URL is then created by the system, which can be plugged into social media, shared on your website. You can even text it to your customers as our payment forms are very mobile friendly. And lastly, recurring billing. We all know it's a magical thing. Our system can easily set up flexible payment options for your customers. So kind of going back to that initial question of how do your customers want to pay you and what's most convenient for them, you want to be able to work with them when they get paid and kind of have it be an automatic convenience in the background. So as you can see here, you can set up multiple different kinds of recurring billing. This is also done in the catalog. So you set up your billing constraints such as frequency, amount, again, how often it comes out. You can set up your customers on recurring billing either internally, or you can put it again on an external facing e-commerce solution where your customers will then enroll themselves in recurring billing. And you can also be very flexible on the back end once these recurring billing schedules are set up. So maybe somebody needs to pause their membership or change the amount that they're at. Very easy to do so on the back end, same with payment method.
Great. And in addition to the items that Maureen talked about, we're really excited to talk about this today, and that is our Buy Now button. So the Buy Now button is actually a brand new PaySimple feature that will be launching tomorrow morning. So today is really the first time that we've talked about this at all. So this really is hot off the press type information here, but the Buy Now button is different than what Maureen talked about in the last couple of examples, because in the payment forms in the online stores, she talked about a custom URL that's set up where you can direct people to go to make payments and purchase services. But with the Buy Now button, you actually take that button and embed it directly into your existing website. So there's no custom URL that needs to be generated. It's a very, very easy build in the PaySimple platform backend. You copy that code, you paste it very simply into your web CMS, and it will automatically render on your website. So it's a way for you to not have to take your customers outside of the existing website experience that you've probably worked very hard to build, and it can be customized and branded to make sure that it fits exactly into your website and make sure that that experience is not broken for your customers. So here you see an example preschool website with a Donate Now button. So it's great because you can change the text on the button. It can be Buy Now or Pay Now or Donate. So if a customer went on and just wanted to donate some money, instead of having them click around to several different pages to find out where that is, you can plug it right into that header. And as soon as they hit Donate Now, they're going to come up with a little form where you can ask them for additional information. You can have a specific amount tied to that button, or you can have an open-ended amount in the case like a donation. And then they simply enter their information from a credit card or a bank account, which you can choose whether or not you want to allow them to pay in either of those manners. And when they add their information there, they hit complete checkout, and they're done. They close that window. They're still in your existing website experience, but they have actually donated, purchased a service, whatever that might be. So you're actually using the Buy Now button to enable commerce on your existing website, which is just another really exciting feature that we've built to add flexibility to the way that our customers can then have their customers pay and not only offer the payment method that works best for them, but also works best for the business. So again, this is kind of the first time we're talking about this. It's coming out tomorrow morning. We're really, really excited for that launch, and I'm really glad that I was able to share that today because we're really excited about this new feature. So that kind of brings us to the end here, and we do want to take some time to answer some of the questions that people have been sending in throughout the presentation, and I do really appreciate that people have been sending them through. And again, if we don't have the ability to answer your question, because we are running a little short on time, we're going to do our best to answer them in a follow-up blog post that we're going to be posting to go live next week. So the first question that we got here is, can you use a Buy Now button to collect more data on customers, as in maybe like a registration? And that's a great question, and the answer is definitely yes. So let's say, for instance, you wanted people to easily sign up for a summer camp. If you put that button on your website, you can ask for additional information from that customer. If they're signing their child up, you can ask what t-shirt size do they want? Are they allergic to any foods? Any other information that may assist you in being able to provide the best service for that customer, you can include in that Buy Now button. So the next question here is, do I need a developer to put the Buy Now button on my site? And I'm going to let Maureen take that one.
Yeah. There is no developer required, totally out-of-box solution here. You're 100% empowered as a PaySimple customer and business owner to set up the e-commerce solutions independently. We have also a robust help center with lots of great guides that will show you click-by-clicks, as well as walk-me's, and an award-winning customer care and success team to help you set these up.
Great. And we have another question that came in, and is the purpose that they're looking for is recurring charitable donations. Is this a good program? And the answer is absolutely yes. So not only in the items that we talked about today, recurring billing features, things of that nature, it's a fantastic program for that. But in addition to that, it really allows you to collect donations in the way that is best for the entire organization. So if you're mostly recurring donations, we can absolutely help with that. But if you decide to expand a little bit, you have some on-site events where maybe you want to collect donations in person. Our mobile application helps with that. If you want to have several different donations that can be made for sponsorships for events, You can showcase those together all in an online store. So we absolutely can handle those recurring donations very well. But what I think you get from a multi-channel payment solution like PaySimple is when you decide that it's time to grow and allow donations in multiple different ways, PaySimple will already allow you to do that without having to buy anything extra or without having to sign up for any new functionality. It's just a part of that solution because we are multi-channel.
Yes, I would say on the success team we work with some really great nonprofits, and one of which used our online store in correspondence with a live fundraising event that they were doing and a kind of a donor drive, if you will. And they were actually able to increase their donations, I think by 75% by doing an online solution in correspondence with in-person donor events.
Great, and I think we have time for one more question here, and thank you to Tony for asking how is the experience on mobile, and it's a fantastic experience. So not only are the customer-facing items that you may offer mobile optimized, so you can get on there and allow your customers to access them through a mobile device, but we actually have mobile applications for both iOS and Android that you can use in order to collect those payments, manage customer information, streamline billing practices, et cetera. And at PaySimple, we actually have a dedicated team within our development staff that focuses on mobile. So the mobile experience is very important to us because we know it's very important to our customers and their customers. So it's something that we focus on really heavily and something that we try to always optimize as we move forward when we build new features to help our customers grow and expand their business. So I apologize. I know we did have a couple more questions, but that's all the time that we have today. So I want to thank everybody for joining today's webinar. Again, PaySimple was founded more than a decade ago with really one mission, and that's to make it easier for small business owners to do what they love to do, which is run their business. So our all-in-one payment solution takes a lot of the tasks that would be time-consuming or very error-prone, and it makes it seamless and automatic. So if you need a better way to accept payments, attract interest in your business, and manage customers, we actually have a great way that you can give PaySimple a try with no obligation, and that's through our free trial. So as you'll see here, Ingrid said that this service has been a godsend for their business, and we really hope that we can have other people really find the value in PaySimple as our other customers have. And so if you'd like to get in, kind of look around the solution, see if it's the right fit for you, just simply go to www.paysimple.com/free trial, and from there you can get a login into the system and try us out for 14 days with no credit card or no commitment required. So that's it for today. Again, I want to thank my co-presenter, Maureen, for all of her wonderful information. And if you would like to learn more about payment experience, automation tips, and other small business kind of tips and tricks, feel free to visit our blog at www.paysimple.com/blog. So thank you very much for your time today, and we hope to see you on a future webinar.